Hello everybody, welcome to my tutorial about how to do real sidechaining in digital audio workstations which don't natively support it. So in my case, I got Cubase AI with my beautiful Steinberg audio interface for free, and I was impressed what it could do. It's really just a slightly downsized version of the Pro. Only a few plugins are missing, but you can easily replace them with free plugins and some workflow improvements which are not really necessary apart from one thing, and that's sidechaining. So I'm showing you this tutorial in Cubase AI, but basically it should also work for other workstations if they don't support sidechaining. So let's dive right in. What is sidechaining and what are we using it for? So basically you make one track react to the volume of another track. Where it's used most of the times is to make a bass go out of the way when the kick drum hits. That makes a lot of sense because for one thing it will sound a little bit more clear, but actually much more important is if your frequencies are adding up, it just makes it louder, and if you then reduce the noise, the kick drum can get lost. So usually your plugin, most of the time it's the compressor, will have a button which says sidechain. You click on this sidechain button and simply choose your source of volume to which react. You can do that in Cubase AI and LE. So my idea was, if I manage to get both signals on one track, then apply the compressor, it will react to both signals. And if I then cut the kick drum audio signal off, I will have a sidechain. So that's basically how we do it. We use both channels of a stereo audio signal, kick drum on one side, bass on the other side, apply the compressor, and then cut off the kick drum and move the bass back to the center again. What you need for this to work is Cubase AI or LE, and the only thing you need extra is a free plugin from Melda Audio called MChannelMatrix. If you need to download that, please find the link in the description. So as soon as you have that, we are set and ready to go. So let's start. I've set up a simple tutorial scene here, which consists of one kick drum. I called it source, and I've got one straight out tone. This is supposed in our case to be the bass. I use a straight out tone so that it will be very easy for us to hear the sidechaining effect. Let's get started. So the first thing I need to do, I need to send my signal to a bus. I can use any bus effects or group buses in Cubase, and then I can pan the signal and send it to my sidechain. I choose an effect channel because in Cubase AI and LE the effects and group channels are limited, 4 effects and 8 groups. So I tend to use one of each to keep my options open for later if I need more groups for something else. Okay, let's choose an effect channel. We don't need to apply any effects, so let's leave that blank. Let's call it source pan right, so it's panning our source to the right hand side. To get our source signal there, we use a send effect. With the send effect, we can send the original signal to another channel. So we basically double up the signal. So we go to send effect and send it to source pan right. In Cubase we need to switch it on. Now to test if it's working, I can simply stop the source from going to the stereo out by changing it in the routing in my mixer here. I just simply switch off the output. I still hear it because I've got it here in my source pan. If I mute that one, the kick drum is gone. So we will switch on the kick drum later, but let's keep it switched off for now so that we can easily check if our sidechain is working. So now this one, we don't need to do anything with that anymore, apart from, of course, panning it to the right side, as the title says. Okay, now we've got our kick drum on the right hand side. The next thing we need to do is to combine our kick drum and the music file. So to do that, we use a group channel. Let's make a new group channel, and let's call this sidechain out. And to this group, we need to combine these two signals. First, let's use the source pan right, the kick drum on the right hand side. And now we don't want to keep the original signal, so we don't use the send effect, but we are routing it straight into the sidechain out. We do that here in the mixer window, source pan right. Now it's going to stereo out, but we want to send it to the group of the sidechain out, and that one of course is going to stereo out. The second signal we need in there is the music file. Again, we don't want to keep the original, because if we have the original and the one which is being sidechained, they will overlap and our effects will be lost. So we also use the routing for this one. Instead of stereo out, it's going to the group sidechain out. One more thing we need to do on the music, we need to pan it to the left hand side. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it can't hurt, and maybe it keeps everything more clean. Another thing you can do, if it's a stereo signal, to move them together onto a mono channel, because we can only use a mono signal. And that's actually easily done. We use the internal plugin of Cubase, which is called mono to stereo, but it can also do it the other way around if we click this button here, the mono button. So now we have a mono signal. So now if we play, we have the kick drum on the right hand side and the music on the left hand side. We can test it quickly. Right hand side pan, we only have the kick drum. Left hand side, we only have the music. Beautiful. Now basically all the hard work is done. The sidechain is set up and ready for the fun part. Let's apply a compressor. So you can use any compressor, also the internal. I'm going to use the Kotelnikov because it's a very nice free plugin, very clean compressor, and so that we hear the effect, I'll pan to the left hand side so that I only hear the music. We already see the kick, and if we go far enough with the threshold, we already hear the reaction of the music to the kick drum. We can quicken the attack and maybe give it a stronger ratio. Now we can hear it now. So there you have it, our sidechain, but now the kick drum is still there. We want to get rid of that. For that now we use our plugin I mentioned previously, the Melder Audio MChannelMatrix. Here we see our inputs 1 and 2, so the two sides of the stereo signal, and here are the outputs, where does it go out. Input 1 is the left hand side, so if we switch that off we only hear the kick drum, and input 2 is the right hand side, so if we switch that off we only have the music. So to have the music on both channels, we simply switch it to here. So now, oh beautiful, we can hear it on both channels again. So that's all you need to do. And now if you want to have a stereo signal again, you can apply the mono to stereo again. Now it's splitting up the signal into stereo. We don't really want that for bass anyways, but if you sidechain the vocals, then you might want a bigger stereo. So the last thing we need to do is we need to get the kick drum back, and that's really simple. We switch on the routing to the stereo out again of the original source files. So here we go. We have our kick drum and a bass which is being ducked following its volume. There are more ideas how to use sidechains. Basically you can use any plugin which reacts to volume. You can use it, for example, with gating. So yeah, I think you get the idea. That's all about my sidechaining tutorial, how to do real sidechaining in Cubase AI. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up. Also in the comments below, let me know what you think about it. I'm really interested, and especially if you find any improvements, please let me know. I will be happy to hear about it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.